Hello, my love. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology, and we're going to do a deeper look at the new moon in Leo. Now, before we do any type of breakdown, recap, or anything along those lines, I have a quick little announcement, and I'm also going to use part of this announcement as a way to describe parts of the energy around this Leo new moon. So they kind of go hand in hand. Hear me out. One, I had multiple things that I was trying to do this particular weekend. Like there's something specific about July 26th for me as an individual. Transit wise, not a whole lot going on. This is specific to me because every time I was trying to book something for the 26th, I was even looking at starting to teach a class around the 26th. Like my hands would just freeze up, and I'm like, the energy is telling me no, that's not what I'm supposed to do. Take a step back. Somebody else brings something up. No, okay, that's not what I'm supposed to do. And then Mercury turns retrograde. And one of my friends tells me, hey, aren't you going to go to that OKC event? I was like, no, I'm not booked for that. I thought they wanted you there. You should check into that. Sure enough, lo and behold, I check in. People had been backing out of an event. The person that runs that event, the Gypsy Holistic Fair event, this specifically, that's what that is. She says, yeah, I need you. Like, I was like, oh, weird. Pull some cards. Even the cards say, make a decision. I'm not even kidding you. It was two of swords, two of coins, and two of wands. Make a decision. So it was my decision, and I've committed to it. So for my people in OKC, I'm coming back this weekend. It was not a part of the plan. But I'm coming back this weekend. I will be at the Reed Conference Center on Saturday and Sunday. There's going to be an event there, 11 to 5 each day. I will be doing in-person astrology readings, tarot readings, spiritual coaching, all those things. There'll be other people there that do different types of readings. I know there's going to be numerology. I know there's going to be aura photos. I know there's going to be some Reiki practitioners. I mean, a lot of things going on this weekend. So unscheduled yet now scheduled turn of events. I will be in Oklahoma City this weekend. Yay. Okay. It's kind of weird. And it is kind of weird. And it takes me kind of into a segment as to like what I've been feeling around this new moon. This new moon is meant to reveal some things, but it's meant to reveal some things because something else didn't go to plan. We couldn't commit to it. We couldn't stay focused on it. It wasn't the right time. And I had a lot of people since Jupiter has went into Cancer be like, well, you should teach. I'm like, I don't disagree with that. But I also don't feel like, again, that it's the right time. Not saying no, I'm just saying later. And as opposed to rushing into some platform of trying to teach something at a local facility, I've taken a step back. So instead of, or again, like teaching a class this coming weekend for the first time, I'm taking a step back and I'm focusing more on what I do in the business. And that's going to be kind of a pattern that you see with a lot of people because they don't want to do something anymore. They don't support something anymore. They don't feel committed to something anymore, or someone else has removed support, alleviating certain responsibilities. Something new is meant to come through that was not a part of the initial plan. However, remember this new moon is in Leo. We got something else going on in Leo, and that's the Mercury retrograde. Everything about this Mercury retrograde is setting the stage for what we start to do in eclipse season. And that's going to be the last part of August and all of September. So there's the next part of a stair step. We have had certain things that we have put into motion. We have seen certain things slide into place. And little by little, because something new has occurred, something new has happened, it has created tension. It has created frustration. It has created shifts and movements in other ways that were not a part of the original scheduled program. And I feel like the energy right before Mercury went retrograde, and now that it is retrograde, has shown us where the shift in plans are meant to be. Now, for some people, it is the vibration of what else has gone on this week, specifically that square between Venus and Mars, of doing something or having something understood pushed onto us, whether it was by the universe doing some funny little funky thing, that's me, or by outside people pushing something, revealing something, secrets coming to the surface, jealous behavior hitting our buttons. It has now pushed something else into light. And whenever it comes to this new moon in Leo, I feel like it's one part of a revealing process. Please note, I said one part. There will be more. Pay attention on the next weekly episode. That will make sense. This new moon feels like it's a revealing. Now, why do I say that? Because not only is it co-present to Mercury retrograde, but it is aspecting tons of planets all through the chart. This is a new moon in an opposition to Pluto. Fear, frustration, death, power struggles, hidden secrets, transformation, going more positive, doing something that allows more people to feel their own personal power. Some of us, we're the Pluto person, really pushing for someone to evolve, to take shape, to make a decision to do something different, and to face certain fears. New moon opposite Pluto. Next one. This is a new moon in a trine to both Saturn and Neptune. Now, these two planets are newly retrograde. They have been in their little pinky toe dip into Aries, setting something forward, putting the first rounds of things in place, but letting us know we're kind of at a stopping point, that we've gone this far and now we need to solidify things. And because we've gone so far and these two planets are now retrograde, therefore moving away, opposite direction of the new moon, a lot of people are having to face their fears because they have had support removed, responsibilities removed, certain practices removed, something fell away. And I can go a multitude of different ways. This is because I ain't got the kids this weekend. Now I can go do this for the very first time. I can go do something that was not a part of the plan. And because I did do something that's not a part of the plan, it's not all just directly on the new moon, just to be clear. And I'll say that again, but this is going to be the best example of that. If you're doing something this weekend that was not a part of the plan, it's opened you up to a possibility that you hadn't previously considered. And that can be empowering. New moon in Leo. Because we don't have certain obligations the same way, it allows open for a whole new mindset to start to develop. And it'll really shift something into place between now and the next new moon. And that goes into the next outer planet that's involved, because the next outer planet will also be involved with the next new moon. And that's Uranus in Gemini. Over the last few weeks, Uranus has now started his pinky toe dip into Gemini. And Uranus is in a sextile to this new moon, bringing forth new excitement, bringing forth a new idea, bringing forth the arrival of something that is going to shift our perspective. It's not just shifting us in the moment of the new moon. It is instigating a vibration that will directly impact both this new moon and the next new moon, which will be our first new moon in Virgo, but it will not be the eclipse. The reason I say that is because this new moon is in a sextile to Uranus, but the next one will be in a square. So we're bringing something forward. We're gaining perspective. We're shifting something very gently based off of Uranus's vibration, because this is a sextile that will lead to more of a push into a new direction later on. And that will be as we get closer again to eclipse season. We can do something in the moment that, again, we didn't plan on doing. And it opens a door. It opens our mind. It opens the opportunity. It opens up perspective. It provides something different. And if there was going to be a weekend of doing something that we've never done before, I like this weekend for it. Aside from the fact that Mercury is retrograde, because it's true, he is. There needs to be a shift in perspective. And I feel like this new moon in Leo can empower a lot of people to do exactly that. shift their perspective. Now, for some people, you have no choice but to shift your perspective. No choice at all. You got to do it. It's a part of the plan, it's a part of the program, because other people have not given you a choice. You got fired, your girl broke up with you, your best friend moved away, something happened that turned and removed certain vibration because there was a necessity to create space to allow new things in. And in a lot of ways, we're going to be testing waters and experimenting with doing stuff that we wouldn't normally do. And for some people, it will go well. For other people, it's going to show you really quickly why you shouldn't go in certain directions, but it will still teach you something as to like a different perspective, different people to communicate with, different people to vibe with, something different in the vibration that sets things in motion. In a lot of ways, it will set some things into motion. For some of us, it's going to be judgment, a critical analysis. For other people, it is going to put us down a rabbit hole of shifting our ideas and shifting our plans and researching things that we have never thought of before. It is going to open our mind to something. For some, it will be investigative. It will be people in positions of power announcing new information, trying to help people overcome their fears, and just creating more issues. I hope that's not foreboding at all. Big possibility, though. Whatever we're doing new in and around this new moon, because it doesn't always have to be directly during the new moon. Some people get very stuck on that. You get stuck on the idea that if it didn't happen the day of the new moon, it's not a part of the new moon vibration. That is not true. The new moon instigates certain things. It starts certain things that can take an entire lunar month, that would be new moon, to play out. And I'm telling you, this one's going to take an entire lunar month. It's not eclipse season. It's not an eclipse, but it is setting us into motion, pushing a direction, pushing a perspective, pushing an adventure, an agenda, an idea into focus. And it's something in many ways we hadn't previously considered. But for a lot of people, whatever's going on in this new moon, recent events have created space. And it is pushing something into the forefront. Now, if you have dealt with the negative impacts of emotions this week, somebody acting out, doing something they wouldn't normally do, showcasing their jealous behavior, showcasing the attitude that something is supposed to go this way, but they've never said that before. And now they're striking nerves. Part of what this new moon can be for you is the revealing of you have to shift your plan. You have to shift your focus because you can't rely on them anymore. You can't trust in their behavior. You can't trust in what they're doing. You got to do what's best for you. Now, the thing about the sign of Leo is it is the sun. It brings forth regalness. It brings forth family in a lot of ways because Leo lions themselves, their dynamics include prides. That's what they call the family unit of all the lions together as a pride. There are going to be a lot of things that are meant to come through this week that can boost the ego. And if it's a boost of ego, again, it's because something didn't go to plan initially and it's bringing something forward. But for other people, if you've had something with an outside person that has shaken you, it's letting you know that the only way to heal your ego, heal your heart chakra, take back your personal power is to face the fear of letting something or someone go. Because their behavior is showing you they're not a part of the next part, the next plan, the next chapter, the next energy. the next cycle. They are not a part of it. And for you to be able to deal with that, we have to be prepared to let some people go. And what can happen in this new moon is finally feeling the confidence to face that fear. Again, new moon opposite Pluto, and reveal something unanticipated, unexpected, shifting the plan, shifting the focus. And if you don't necessarily reveal it right now, what you can finally do is feel the confidence to do something different for yourself. And it's like once you get out of the funk, out of where you've been stuck, out of your situation, out with the girls, road trip, whatever, that by getting out of an environment, it rebuilds your confidence and shows you how much your nervous system has been getting shaken and shocked over and over again by being in toxic environments. And even if that's not the intention, if you have certain things that are racking your nervous system, that's still the result. And this rebuild of your confidence, again, new moon in Leo, will help you over time face certain fears. And again, reveal certain things. And for a lot more people, the revealing will be a part of next week. But there's something about this new moon, even though there's not a direct correlation by transit, there's something about this new moon I feel like also impacts next week when we get into the Mercury Cazimi. There's not a direct transit to that per se, but there is things that tells me that there's something in this vibration of rebuilding confidence or stepping into something new, doing something that again wasn't a part of the plan, allows for more things to come to light in the week ahead and therefore the weeks ahead. Because again, we need the entire lunar month based off of Uranus's vibration in this new moon. Okay. I'm happy for it. I'm hopeful for it. There's a lot of like pridefulness in it and rebuilding confidence in it, which seems rather weird. But it feels like we're rebuilding confidence in ways that we didn't previously consider. And that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Okay. Okay. Now, when it comes to the way I do this type of episode, because some people will be hearing these for the first time, I do not care if your ascendant is at 2 degrees or 22 degrees, wherever your ascendant lies, whatever zodiac sign it is, that entire zodiac sign is your first house. And each numerical house that follows is going to be associated with that next zodiac sign. So that being said, for Aries and Aries risings, we are looking at a new moon in your 5th house. Love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. Now, again, this is a new moon opposite Pluto in your 11th house of friends. Some of you are going to be looking at the idea of a new relationship that your friends don't necessarily enjoy. Some of you are realizing that you have to leave a relationship or leave a place or leave a partnership because that's what's going to be best for you. And you pulling back, what I'm looking at is Saturn and Neptune in your 1st house, feeling that vibration towards pulling back, pulling away, having the recent shift in your opinion that you're no longer going to be responsible for certain things. It's now going to allow for you to have that hindsight is 2020 vibration. Whenever we go into a breakup of any sort, a lot of people don't necessarily pay attention to everything from the past until it gets triggered. And you can have that first inkling of a trigger in this new moon based off of everything that has kind of come through. Because you have pulled back and you're seeing how your friends are talking about someone, it's solidifying like whether you made the right decision or not. And many of you need to do what's best in this regard for you. Now, not everybody is in the mindset of what's best for themselves. Some of you are having to deal with something around your children. And if that's the case, there can be something new with one of your kids, with a friend group. They're wanting to try a new sport. They're wanting to try a new thing. They're wanting to go out. And you can be really hesitant as to whether that's going to be the right thing or not. And in some ways, you still have to let the kids live. You have to recognize that they have to go through their own lessons. We have the Page of Coins, by the way. They need to go through their own lessons so that way they can understand the environments. They can understand how to read people. They can understand things that they didn't normally understand. And there is something about this that shows you that sometimes you just have to let them grow. Now, for some of you, if you're dealing with older children and not younger children, you could be seeing something that they're doing that you don't necessarily support. Well, I don't know about going into business on your own. Your grandpa tried that, he failed. Your grandma tried it, they failed. Your uncle tried it, they failed. I never tried it because I always seen them fail, and I don't want you to do it too. But if they choose to move forward with something, that's their lesson to learn and not yours. So even if you don't necessarily support something, that doesn't necessarily mean you're coming from a fair perspective. We have the Justice card following this Page of Cups. And there will be a lot of people that the push towards a new direction, towards something different, having your kids reveal something that you were not anticipating, doesn't mean that they're going in a wrong direction. In many ways, we have this Ace of Cups now. They're meant to do something new, whether you like it or not. Now, for some of you, there's going to be new connections with groups of people. It's the new moon in the 5th, bringing out your inner child, opposite Pluto in the 11th. For some of you, it might even be welcoming back an old friend into the group where you haven't seen in a long time. When did you move back? I thought you lived in the big city. Where have you been? Oh, I moved back like 2 months ago. Been back for a little while. Mom got sick. Dad got sick. I came back. And you see how much they have changed. New moon opposite Pluto. And that energy of Saturn and Neptune can bring back all the nostalgia from before. And it doesn't have to be heavy. It can allow for you to connect, we got the Two of Cups, with people around you in a whole different way, Three of Wands. And as we go through those levels of reconnect and reconnecting to our inner child, as well as the friend, doing those things that are outside of the box, doing something we haven't done in a really long time, it can ignite a passion. Knight of Wands. There can be passion in this new moon, especially for you guys. And there can also be something that shows direction. Maybe not something that you're immediately ready to deal with, immediately ready to do, but that doesn't mean that direction is not real and cannot be seen. Because the Knight of Wands wants to achieve, it wants to get certain things accomplished. And it's a very fire energy. You are a very fire sign. So be aware of that. Passions can be a real thing. Moving along. For Taurus and Taurus risings. All right, my loves. Now, whenever it comes to this new moon, this is a new moon in your 4th house. Home life, family, roots, ancestry. There are going to be things going on with your mothers that can also have to do with the 4th house. There are going to be things that are going on in regards to like wanting to renovate the house, do something different, make a change the paint color. Some of you are having to be the referees within the family. With Uranus in the sextile to this new moon, after having had so much time of Uranus in your 1st, that's why I'm directly going to Uranus. With Uranus having been in a sextile to that new moon, you could be making the choices as to like where you're spending money right now, where you're trying to invest, where you're wanting to buy a home, what you're wanting to do different in regards to this vibration. And for a lot of you, there can be investments that are a real big part of the agenda. Even if that wasn't necessarily the original plan, it can have you questioning like your financial investments, whether you should do something different, sorry, one of your cards fell. Whether you're wanting to do a home business or something along these lines. There's something about money the future, as well as where you call home. And some of you might even be looking at moving for a job. Now, that job can be a good thing or it could be a bad thing. But the new moon hitting that opposition to Pluto, again, making that sextile to Uranus, the move might just be what's necessary, this part of the change of plans, so that way you can afford the life that you're used to living. Some of you might not have a choice, like there's layoffs going on. And the only way that you can get through that situation is to sell the house, move out of the big city. I always make fun of the big city. I'm a country girl. Like, I always make fun of the big city. I'm moving back to the country. I'm moving away. I'm moving out. Because there can be something here that speaks to the financial shift that's impacting the home life, that's impacting the family, that's impacting the household. And that a lot of that has to do with the fact that, again, Uranus is in that sextile to the new moon. It's a new moon in the fourth. That new moon is in the opposition to Pluto. And there can also be issues in regards to like mothers and fathers, depending on your age group. But there does seem to be something very financial. And again, we have this 5 of coins energy. A lot of you are either having something at your job change and it's going to impact your home life, or it's something about your home life has to change. So that way something different can be put into perspective for career. And that again can be like, we have to like renovate the garage because we're going to do a home business now. I got to put more stuff into my office space because I'm not well equipped for what I need to be doing. And it's like spending a little bit of money to get something different. And that can be a big part of that. Some of you are going to have to spend money to make money. So it's like a temporary financial setback with this 5 of coins. The 5 of coins is a bankruptcy card. So a lot of people, if we're in that vibration of like, we're not entirely sure what we're doing financially, it's either we're like investing money, doing something, I've got to spend a little bit more money to make money, or it's realizing we have to cut some losses in regards to like where we live, what we're doing, or we're having additional expenses. The other thing Pluto can represent is plumbing issues, and we have to pay money out for certain repairs. So there's one part of the financial aspect. Some of you, again, are looking at the timing of everything and whether you've made the right decisions or whether you're about to make the right decisions. With this Wheel of Fortune vibration, it's like there is a turning point in where we're at in time. And the one thing about Pluto being in your 10th, while Uranus, the ruler of the 10th, is in your second house of money, is a lot of you are making very different decisions as to how you want the future to go. And you're, again, at a point of needing to invest in yourself and making sure you're making all the right decisions and going down the right path. So here's your next 3 cards. We still have the Wheel of Fortune here. We also have the 8 of coins and the 2 of wands. That speaks to the depiction of looking at a different path. We've gone one way for so long. This has been the direction. This has been the idea. This has been our path. But now there is the opportunity for something else, something shiny, something new, something foreign. And we really have to weigh out the pros and cons. Justice card. Now, for you, some of you are going to make some decisions that very quickly you might end up regretting, like within a month. And that could be because we made long-term decisions in temporary energy, a long-term decision during a Mercury retrograde. But for some of you, you're not going to have much of a choice. You have to make the long-term decision because that's the only thing that's going to keep everything level, equal, fair for everybody. It's what's going to keep you in balance. Now you got your last card. This is the Magician card. And this is a very mercurial card. The things that are not going to plan have a purpose. And they're setting the stage for who you connect with later on. And again, this is a Mercury retrograde that is setting us up for eclipse season. So we can be doing something small in this moment that leads to something bigger later on, that leads to something different unfolding in the future, bigger unfolding in the future. So we need certain things to kind of manifest and happen, because whatever is starting to unfold has more than one piece to it. Going off the idea of the plumbing for just one example. something goes wrong, pipe breaks, you got to replace the plumbing, you got to call the plumber. But that plumber is awesome. You make friends with that plumber, you go on a date with that plumber, you do something extra with that plumber. And then it turns into a bigger thing where later on, where it's not just one date, it turns into a relationship. But the whole reason that relationship ended up happening was because you had a plumbing leak months ago. You never know. You never know when somebody is meant to come in and how they're going to unfold and bring you into new things. But a lot of this energy is going to set us up for, again, eclipse season that's going to be in your fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, and children. So it's not a stretch to say one thing that could be potentially costing you money doesn't lead to something bigger later on, or doesn't lead to you doing something again to where it becomes your own business. Say you don't like the plumber at all. So you YouTube it, you teach yourself how to do it, and you realize you could teach yourself how to do a lot more things. And then even further, you turn it into a business. I can't tell you how many things I have taught myself how to do. Nobody taught me, I taught myself. I figured it out, whether it was through YouTube or any of the other ways that you can do things. Sometimes it was just asking someone, hey, I'm going to try to do this. You think this will work? Researching codes, anything along these lines. But it leads to like the trickle effect. We need something to happen in the temporary energy because it sets the stage for long-term decisions later. And again, it could still be like a home business type of thing. Even a temporary financial setback can have gains if you use this energy wisely. Okay. Moving along. For Geminis and Gemini risings. All right, babies, this is a new moon in your third house. Short distance travel, communication, can literally have to do with a car right now. You can have something going wrong with a car, or something that speaks to like an unexpected decision to travel somewhere. That doesn't always have to be a bad thing. Sometimes you just need to get out of Dodge. Like you're so mad about what's been going on at work. You're so mad at certain people. You got Saturn and Neptune in that retrograde now in your 11th house of friends. Like I have no other choice but for me to get away from the situation, get away from work, get away from the frustration, get away from something. I need to do something a little unexpected. Uranus in your first is making an aspect to that new moon. Now, this could be something unexpected that impacts your relationship with a sibling just as much as it could be the travel thing. For some of you, it could be both. We've got something that is shifting in our mindset that's going to be shifting the plan. And for some of you, even being the first little bits of a stage that sets you into a new chapter of your life and getting you very, very unstuck from all the things that you were dealing with in the past. The thing about Uranus in your guys' first house is a lot of you, it's been more of an internal energy, an internal itch, so to speak, of what you want to do next. Now, the one extra thing that I'm going to bring up with you guys that I haven't really brought up with everyone else is the fact that Venus is in your first house right now. And Venus's vibration can be bringing different attention onto you. And whatever that attention has been, whether it has been like a relationship attention, or if it has just been going out and having fun and people just seeing your vibe is different, your fire is different, your light is different, whatever it is. It could also still be opening doors to where you want to go next. Many of you, whenever you had so many things going through the 12th in the last 2 years, well, for Uranus, it was 8 years. Uranus was in your 12th house for 8 years. A year and a half ago, you still had Jupiter in your 12th house. Oh, what did I say? 8th, 12th. I'm so sorry. You've had a lot of things in that 12th house that are now like alleviating. It's like we've had so many things that were holding us back. We're keeping us stuck, the hangman energy, that we're realizing we don't have to stay stuck if we don't choose to. Now I'm putting the 7 of Swords up here with the hangman. What I'm going to remind everybody is with the hangman, he can reach this rope. He just has to pull the lever, make a decision to get himself unstuck. Now the 7 of Swords feels like a betrayal card. A lot of times it does speak to betrayal. And again, this is a new moon making a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. Because something has come to a peak, something has come to an ending, something has come to an adjustment in that 11th house vibration. You have certain people you don't want to surround yourself with. Then we're going to have to make the decision to get unstuck and speak certain truths. Queen of Swords now. Speak certain truths that for other people, they might feel like it's a betrayal. Like moving forward, I don't think we should hang out so much. I'm not giving you rides to work anymore. That could be something as mundane as that. I can't give you rides to work anymore. I can't do this with you anymore. I got to focus on me. I got things changing in my life and I can't do this with you because are having that itch again, the itch, craving some new form of excitement in one way, independence in other ways, because again, Uranus is now in your first house. And the thing about, again, Uranus is now in an air sign. This is air quality vibration. And with that Queen of Swords, we could be making the decision, having to speak certain truths that allow for you to enjoy more of that independence the way that you need to. Now, you also have the High Priestess card. This is an intuitive card. This is an empathic card. It's an emotional card, but it's listening to your intuition. Listen to the downloads. Your chart ruler is retrograde during this new moon, and some of you are going to be feeling the need to shift your direction, shift your focus, or you're going to be feeling the need to do something different, but you don't know what it is. The thing is, like, we're not all going to see what it is, and this is why I'm saying we need to explore. We need to be Dora the Explorer, going on an adventure and try something new, because whatever that new is, that thing that wasn't a part of the plan, can allow for other things to start to develop later on, which can also result in new passions. We have the World card and we have the King of Wands. These are your last two cards. The World card is like, I have finished with all of the lessons. I finished school. I did the thing. I've wrapped one thing up and I'm ready to start something new. I'm ready to go down this different path, start this new chapter. I've learned as much as I can in this stage of my life, and I want to try something new. And again, with Uranus being in your first house, it is the pinky toe dip between July 7th, because that's when it started, to November 7th, because that's when he'll go back into Taurus and go deal with whatever unfinished business that is. We're at the starting line, the pinky toe dip, the forefront of new awareness of new things that we want to do, but we will not do them all up front because, again, this is the pinky toe dip. We're testing the waters. But the new chapter and the new passions can still come through, but you might not be completely ready for it. You might not be able to completely commit to something, but that doesn't mean the seeds cannot be planted, because they can. The ideas can still come through. The direction, the path, the passion, going back to this King of Wands, can still come through. Can you have issues with siblings, miscommunication with siblings, issues with cars? Absolutely. Can some of you be forced to make an unexpected decision to replace your car? Absolutely. To do something different. It might not even happen directly all in the new moon. You can have one thing, hear me out, come to light, but you don't find out for a week what the issue is. Like, oh, well, it's the transmission and it's the engine. So it's like the whole thing is just gone. And it forces you to make the decision in like a week or two. Remember, some parts of this can still play out over the course of the entire lunar month. Be aware that it's not all going to happen in one energy. For some of you, it's intuitive, it's the downloads, it's direction, it's inspiration, it's teaching you something, it's making you focus on something you weren't focused on before. For others, it can be the miscommunication, things coming up with the siblings, things coming up with your cars, things that you don't want to have to deal with. And by the end of all of it, Uranus in the first, I don't want to be in charge of anybody anymore. Leave me alone. I'm going to go do this. What is this? I don't know. Whatever it is, I'm just going to get in the car and disappear. There's that one famous scene with the Golden Girls of like, where are you going? I don't know. Either to commit a crime, that's not the exact words, but it's what I'm going to say for the YouTube Spotify gods. To commit a crime or to get ice cream, I'll decide in the car. Decide in the car. Okay. Let's keep this going. For Cancers and Cancer risings, this is a new moon in your second house of money, your assets. And so many of you have been starting new things in business. You've been connecting to new people. You've been looking at new opportunities. You've been getting different job offers. You are looking to invest money somewhere with the idea that it's going to pay you tenfold later on. There's a lot of financial things here. Some of you are having to pay some tax debt that you didn't want to necessarily pay for, and you're trying to scramble to figure out where the money is going to come from, paying off a credit card you didn't know about. Some of you are going to be scrambling to do something financial. Others are going to see some kind of financial benefit because we did make an investment quite a long time ago. And we are recognizing that for us to grow further later on, to do something different later on, we're going to have to become very strategic over the next 6 to 8 months to make something bigger and better, because we're getting to a point that we're seeing the limitations to what we've done so far. But limitations do not have to be a bad thing. Now, again, this is a new moon in your second house of money, hitting this opposition to Pluto in your eighth house. This is eighth house: death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources, shared investments. This can have to do with business partners. This can have to do with credit card debt. This can have to do with tax debt. There can also be like you've done something different in business. Hear me out. And it's like you get your first strong payout, and it's like you're paying invoices for the first time. You're doing something different. You're recognizing like how much the business has grown and how much more you have to do to make the business survive. Now, I'm sticking with business with you guys. Saturn and Neptune are in your 10th house of career, goals for the future, your public image, that career aspect. And there's a lot of things towards rebuilding your confidence. Jupiter in your first is to who you are as an individual. And some of you are going to have to, again, account for where you've gotten to so far, what's happened so far, and if you're making money or not. And the new moon in Leo opposite Pluto in the eighth can let us know whether we're making money or not. If all the work we've been doing, three of coins, is allowing for profit, has it been worth the wait? Some of you are going to be questioning some of the decisions that have been made, four of cups, and you're going to be questioning, oh, do I keep doing this by myself? Do I hire employees? Do I look at the idea of investing in a manager? Do I look at the idea of putting money somewhere over here? Or is that going to cost me too much? Am I going to miss opportunities if I try to bring somebody else in and trust them to do certain things? There can be aspects of like this fear of whether you should take an opportunity or not. I'm saying for a lot of you, as much as you know that you need the help to grow, I still think you need the extra time, because if you make decisions in haste, you're going to regret it later. Let things happen and unfold naturally, and still stick to your grind with the way that you do things the best. With this eight of coins, there's still innovation. There's still other things that you can do besides the idea of hiring someone or spending money on a person. Use technology to your advantage, use AI to your advantage, use whatever you can to your advantage. And I'm going to bring this eight of coins back out. As much as we can do hard work, you can see the hammer and the anvil. I always look at this light bulb epiphany energy that comes through above what looks arguably like a third eye, that we need to embrace additional levels of technology to also grow. And the right investment right now doesn't necessarily seem like a person for you guys. I feel like that's going to be more in the springtime than it is in present energy, but be aware of that. Oh, allow for certain exchanges to happen naturally. We have the six of coins, and this also speaks to that give and take. If you've ever started a business, especially a business that requires inventory, some of you buy things on credit with the idea that you're going to be paying that invoice, paying that credit later. And this can be that first round of like really paying the credit, paying the bills, and seeing just how well things are going and what other things that you need to do in your surroundings to make sure these exchanges can continue to flourish. So we have the Three of Wands vibration as well as the Six of Coins. There can be something in regards to talking to more people, getting more word of mouth out there, growing the business through a different level of marketing. Considering eclipse season is going to be in your third house, and for a lot of you, that's either going to be a lot of travel. So it's like trying to get the money together now that's going to lead to travel later on, or it's trying to get the money together now so we can put more into our marketing and the other ways that we're going to grow the business versus just bringing someone else on. Last card is the Emperor card. Some of you are going to be stuck in your ways. And I feel like for some of you, that's necessary. You need to stay in charge of certain things. Do not rush into the decision of relying on someone else, bringing someone else on, doing something different with other people. Pay attention to the vibration. And if there is the opportunity, let's say somebody tries to come in and say, hey, I can help you on any level. It can be on a business level, on a relationship level, on a financial level, whatever it is. Hey, I can help you. Really weigh your pros and cons right now, because with Mercury's energy, they're coming through in the temporary energy. So they might help you, but there could be stipulations that you don't see. There's some fine print in that paperwork that you're not realizing. And that can come back through later on, specifically either in the next Mercury retrograde or for even more people come December to February of the springtime, because we have a whole mess that's going to be happening in Capricorn opposite Jupiter in your first house. And this is the other reason why I'm saying don't rush to do things right now. Stay focused on what you can do to grow things in a natural way, that in ways that stay within your control. The Emperor card, we're trying to rebuild our confidence, and it's very hard sometimes to struggle with energies like, what's it called? Imposter syndrome. I don't know why people are trusting me. I don't know why people believe in me. I don't know why they're doing this with me. I don't know what they're doing. And we got to heal that, because you are worth everything that's meant to be coming through right now. And one of the things I've been saying to you guys for a while, especially since Mars has left your first house, so the Mars retrograde ended and everything else, like the way you guys start to heal your confidence in the second half of this year, going into the first half of next year, all the steps that you take to heal your confidence and get into a different direction has a purpose. But remember, we never stay in continuous growth. Everything is a cycle, ups, downs, side to side. And if something sounds too good to be true, then it might actually be that way. So again, weigh your pros and cons before you sign anything. All right, moving along. We're going to get to Leos and Leo risings. You're the troublemakers. It's all your fault. I'm telling you now, it's all your fault. Not really. Oh, it is a new moon in your first house, your mind, your body, your identity, your focus, what you desire, what you need, what you wish to be doing, who you trust. And some of you are sick of other people's shit. Because again, this is a new moon opposite Pluto in your seventh house of relationships, and partnerships, and legal matters. Some of you can't necessarily stand the way certain people in positions of power have been acting. This is a new moon, making a trine to Saturn and Neptune in the ninth house, which is higher education, higher learning institutions. Some of you are making the decision to do something different because you can't stand the way people in positions of power have been doing something. And the whole idea is you're wanting to do something different in a way to connect with people. But for you to truly do this level of connection, it's also accepting some people have to be cut off. Now, are you immediately going into the cutoff energy? Probably not. A lot of you are coming out of a stage that feels like you had to withdraw, you had to take a step back from a lot of people. And some of you have even just done the endings because, again, we have Jupiter in Cancer. The sun was just in Cancer. A lot of you were forced to unload yourself with certain burdens. Now we got the 10 of Wands. And it's like by unloading the burden, it's going to allow for you to, one, finally come out of your shell, this Hermit card. Both of these kind of feel like they're more to that past energy. By finally coming to terms with the fact that certain people are not necessarily on your side, you're going to have to push and challenge to get certain things into place. It's as you alleviate the burden and come out of your shell, it's going to allow for other things to finally start to commence with this Ace of Cups energy. Now, this is a new moon opposite Pluto. You can be making the decision because someone else has pushed a button. They've poked the bear. They've pissed you off. Pluto in the 7th. And you're realizing they're not capable of living up to that word. They can be saying something about a friend. Why do I say the friend part? Pluto is in Uranus's sign. Uranus is also making an aspect to this new moon. Uranus is in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, and colleagues. You could be seeing like a new coworker come in based off of like a really bad set of decisions with someone else. You try to talk about that issue and they try to gaslight, they try to do something else. They poke little things inside of you. Because again, Mercury is also retrograde in your first house. And this entire retrograde is about you coming to terms with what path you're going to go down next, 2 of Wands, the decisions that you are making, because over the course of this entire lunar month, many of you are going to be making new decisions as to who you wish to surround yourself with, who you wish to be working with, and different ways as to how you make money, because again, it's setting us up for eclipse season. And the eclipse axis is in your financial houses. Some of you are going to be triggered in one way, shape, or form to make a decision to go down a different path. 2 of Wands. We've been on one path for a while. We've had one way of thinking, and now there's another opportunity. Which way do we go? Which way do we go? Many of you are going to be forced, triggered in some way to go down a different path. That doesn't have to be a bad thing. Your next 2 coins. We have the Ace of Coins and we have the 9 of Coins. If you put these 2 together, babies, they create the 10 of Coins. Many of you are going to be forced to make new decisions in career, make new decisions in your own financial process, in the ways that you make money, but you're going to be doing things for yourself. 9 of Coins, not for somebody else's benefit, for your own benefit. The 9 of Coins is like a boss bitch card. That's why I always describe this one. It's the woman who created her own garden, planted her own seeds, grew her own crops, got all the fruits, took them to the market, made all her own money, is in charge of her own life. Pluto in the 7th is really showing you the kinds of people and quality of people you're willing to put up with and who you're not willing to put up with. And many of you are going to be making the decision in this vibration of, I'm not going to stick with these things that trigger me. Now, are you making all your decisions at once? No. But many of you are feeling the need to finally let go of a burden, come out of your shell, like I said from the first 2 cards. And ultimately, that's going to lead you on a different financial path in regards to how you wish to succeed, how you make money, how you spend money, and more things coming to light. The challenge with the other person can bring insecurities to the surface. But that insecurity is then going to force you to make certain changes, good, bad, or ugly, because again, Mercury is retrograde in your first house. And be aware again of the energy around this new moon and how it impacts next week when we have the Mercury Cazimi. And that Mercury Cazimi is going to be on July 31st. And again, we can have some things revealed and come to light. But in a lot of ways, you getting triggered is going to lead to the decisions of the revealing as to what path and direction you wish to go down next. You might not make all the decisions immediately. Again, the entire lunar month, but whatever's happening in this retrograde on all levels impacts the start of eclipse season. And that's money for you, baby. All right, moving along. We are going to get to Virgos and Virgo risings. Some of y'all are just so done. You are done with people. You are done with the drama. You are done with the frustration. You are done with the decisions. You are done putting something together. You are in a mindset of pushing something forward. Not only are we dealing with the new moon in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings, but you also have Mars in your first house. And the thing about you being so pushed to be done with something can literally mean you pushing to let something go, to leave something behind, or leave someone behind based off of their lack of commitment, based off them not wanting to do what they say that they're going to do. What's interesting about this new moon is, again, it's hitting that opposition to Pluto, bring up a lot of insecurities, a lot of frustrations. It's in a trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 8th house, which is a financial house, shared assets, shared resources. But remember, those two planets are going to end up back in your 7th house. And many of you later this year are going to have unfinished business in regards to partnerships and the people that you trust. And some of you are starting to realize some of the people that you've been trying to rely on, some of the people that you trust, they are not being up and up. There is conflict. There is frustration. There are things that are making you question whether you're in the right place or not. A lot of insecurities can be being brought to the surface because, again, we are in a new moon in your 12th, but Mercury, your chart ruler, is retrograde in your 12th. So there's a lot of things that it's just like, because we keep feeling stuck, we keep feeling like we aren't getting all the truth. It's going to, over time, it's not going to be all at once. It's not just during the new moon. It's going to be the fact that over time, we're going to be realizing we have no other choice but to face certain fears and certain frustrations because we've only been dealing with half truths. Now we have this 8 of Swords. Now, for many of you, if you've been in alignment with certain people that were supposed to give things financially, do things financially, help in so many ways, and they're not committing, they're not doing the extra steps, they're not doing what they said they're going to do, it's going to force many of you to, again, cut off because we can no longer deal with the toxic behavior. Devil card. You are going to have to push for certain things, speak your words, say certain truths. The thing about Mars in your first house is that he can really push for your drive, your ambitions, your desires. And you could be the one pushing for the cutoff. By holding other people accountable, you can also be pushing people's buttons to where they do completely withdraw. That's not a bad thing. The thing about Uranus in your 10th house, and Uranus is also making an aspect to this new moon, is we know we have a trajectory. We know Knight of Swords. We know we have something going on. We know we have a passion. We know what we know. We know that there's possibility for something very specific and near and dear to us in the future. But if not everybody is on board, then there's going to be some conflict. 5 of Swords following the Knight of Swords. And some of you are going to be the ones that are either getting pushed, or you're going to be the ones that are realizing you have to cut other people off because they're not a part of that next cycle. They're not a part of that chapter. Now, the 8th house and the 12th house are both involved. Saturn and Neptune are in the 8th, hitting that trine to the new moon in your 12th. Secrets and affairs can also be the conflict and the energy that's coming up with the 5 of Swords and the Knight of Swords. Dealing with certain truths, whether that is your truth or other people's truth, your secrets or other people's secrets, it doesn't matter. This is a shaky ground vibration for a lot of you. And sometimes you're going to have to deal with the triggers of insecurity, the triggers of secrets, the triggers of how other people have changed their mind, knowing that it's going to force you to make different decisions later on. But that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Weigh out the cost, 4 of Coins, but don't weigh out the cost in the sense of like a greedy sense. The 4 of Coins, like, we don't want to be greedy. We want to be in tune. And overall, the goal is to be in tune and to be accomplished and to reach certain goals. King of Coins. But that means also dealing with certain insecurities in the meantime, letting go of certain frustrations, cutting ties with people that do not go forward, so you can become the new version of you, do the new version of things that you want to put together over the course of eclipse season. And that again, late August and all of September. There is a reason that your buttons are getting pushed. There's a reason for the insecurity. It's telling you the things that do not move forward with you on all levels. You need to cleanse, you need to purge, you need to release, you need to let go. And if certain people bring certain things up over the next few days, especially these initial few days after the new moon, that bring forth insecurities, literally by the weekend, the moon will be in Virgo. And I think a lot of you, once the moon comes into Virgo, especially whenever it gets close to that conjunction to the South Node and Mars, which I think that's going to be more exact on Sunday night going into Monday. I'm trying to do that part from memory. There are going to be certain things that get brought to you that again trigger those insecurities. And many of you are going to have to just let go and process the wound, knowing that it's going to make you better in the long run for doing it. Okay. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Libras and Libra risings. All right, my loves, this is a very interesting vibration for you all. It's a new moon in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues. Mercury is retrograde in your 11th house of friends and network and clients and colleagues. The Saturn Neptune conjunction in the trine to this new moon is in your 7th house of relationships and partnerships. It's making an opposition to Pluto in your 5th house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children. Uranus is in your 9th house, which is not even a heavy placement. It's higher education, higher learning, gaining experience, but some of you are learning in the moment. Some of you are recognizing that there are certain people that you used to trust that you can't trust anymore. You can't rely on them anymore. Some of you are going to be talking to your friends about how certain things have fell apart, how it feels like certain people are falling away and turning away with certain people that we're trying to connect and have partnerships with, that it's not working out. And you don't necessarily know what to do. You don't know who to believe. You don't know what to trust. In a lot of ways, it's going to make you face certain fears. Now, there can be some conflict. Some of you might be having to make the decision to pull away from certain people. Like, I can't trust them. I can't rely on them. I can't believe them. I don't see them the same way. I used to be in love. I'm not in love anymore. I'm realizing I was stupid. I'm realizing I had a lack of judgment. I'm realizing that I had some beer goggles on and I was drinking too much. Like, we have had some realizations. Some of you are going to be having things that are going on with your client base, with your friends, that are going to make you realize that its vibration is why certain people are walking away, are not continuing, are not committing. And there's something in this vibration that can speak to withdrawal, even when we're trying to do something new. And there is the potential of new. We have the Ace of Wands. Some of you are going to be telling your clients, all right, moving forward, so-and-so doesn't do business here anymore. I don't work with them anymore. I can't continue with them. They've made decisions. They've moved away. They've retired. Something has happened. And you're telling groups of people, like, because this has happened, we're going to be making adaptations and changes here with the hope that there will be benefits. So there is the hope of new vibration, Ace of Wands. We have this 8 of Coins about the hard work that we're doing and the innovation and the new ideas that we're going to try. Some of you are going to be looking at new ideas on how to adjust the business, grow the business, do some things. And that's going to take you into uncharted territory. And that can be a good thing. Other people are going to be committing to connecting to friend groups, connecting to client groups, connecting to new people in a new way. We have this Fool card. And because you're more willing to connect to this new group, this new clientele, this new friend, this new energy, it again still creates conflict because, well, what am I, chopped liver? I can't trust you anymore. You're not a part of this anymore. You said you don't want to work with me anymore. So no, it's not chopped liver. You made decisions. Now I'm holding you accountable for that. And there can still be conflict and frustration. Many of you are going to have to, over the course of the next few months, go through variations of almost like a dark night of the soul. And there's going to be things that trigger you into withdrawal over the course of the next month. Now, that's not immediately able to be seen. But again, this Mercury retrograde is setting us up for eclipse season, and one half of the eclipse axis is in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. We have the Star card. This is an awakening card. It is the card that follows the Tower card in the deck. Now, you do not have a Tower card. That's not the point. But this is that awakening card. As certain things, certain groups, certain people, certain connections start to fall away, it allows space for you to heal. It allows space for new things to come through. And I do feel like new things can come through for you all. But I think it's going to be after eclipse season. Because again, I think that there's going to be layers of awakening, a layer of healing, a layer of going through a certain set of emotions. So a new version of you all can come through. And that takes me to this Empress card. We have a goal with how your vibration is going to speak. And you're realizing the people that don't move forward, that don't continue, that you can no longer trust, you can no longer be in partnership with, you can no longer be in relationship with, that was all there for a purpose. We have people come through for a reason or a season. Their season is over, but now we need time to reflect as to what that reason and season taught us. So again, later on, we can welcome new vibration in a healthier standpoint. We need the time for reflection. And what can happen in this Mercury retrograde, being that it is also in your 11th house of friends, network, clients, colleagues, is that as certain things don't go to plan, it pushes you more and more and more into that area of where we need to go through the reflection, where we need to go through that awakening process, where we need to go through that dark night of the soul. Because for a lot of you, there is a vibration that speaks to a dark night of the soul that's coming. And this is coming from a Scorpio rising that just had the eclipse axis in her 12th house and was forced to go through things that sparked healing in the last year and a half. So I've already been where you're at. Just be aware of that. Okay. Moving along. We're going to get to Scorpios and Scorpio risings. We are not the problem. We're not. But man, our goals can be a problem. Our goals can be a real big focus. Again, this is a new moon in the 10th house. Careers, goals, public image, our hopes and dreams for the future. Something that just kind of didn't go to plan. We're no longer responsible for certain things. We're no longer partnered up with certain people. We're no longer connecting to certain people. So it's forced us to rehash, reshape, redo, repurpose one element of what has been going on. This is a new moon opposite Pluto. Some of us are going to be doing new things in our career, knowing that it's going to upset members of our family. Some members of the family, other people are going to be completely supportive about it. I'm like, I'm so proud of you. You've changed so much. I'm so happy you're doing these things. And whatever new vibration starts to unfold over this next month can really entertain new ways of making money. Why do I say that? Because again, this is a new moon in a sextile to Uranus in the 8th house. Debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources, money, please. Okay. Some of us, because certain things have not gone to plan, has now opened an opportunity for a whole new work element. And for some of us, over the course of eclipse season, we're going to be going into uncharted territory. And that does not have to be a bad thing. We have to stay focused on the new things that are unfolding, focused on that new path, and focused on trying things that we've never tried before, knowing that it's going to allow a whole different set of vibration in the long run. And for many of us, we're gaining a whole different set of experiences by living each moment the way that it needs to be lived. That's the way I need to say that. Now, okay. Again, this is a new moon hitting in this opposition to Pluto. There's going to be some people, 3 of Swords, that they do not like what you're doing. You trigger their insecurities. How dare you go start a business on your own, do this thing on your own? You're never going to succeed, because in their mind, they're projecting their own insecurity. And many, many people will deal with those levels of insecurities being spoken They're going to realize that certain people are going to be withdrawing from us, but we're also going to recognize that there's certain people that we need to withdraw from, and that's this Hermit card. The Three of Swords can have to do with betrayal, but considering we have so much of this speaking to how we're doing things at work, what we're dealing with the family, and staying more focused on the positive versus the negative, it's going to be very easy to go dark and focus on the negative of everything that has gone wrong. And that's what this Hermit card speaks of. So many people, they say certain things, they project their own insecurities. As much as the Three of Swords can be about betrayal, it can also have to do with emotional levels of betrayal and that projection of emotional frustration. And it can trigger insecurities within us. Be aware of that. But not all of us need to be so focused on that insecurity. And that takes me now to the Five of Cups. Now, in the traditional deck, the Five of Cups is 3 spilt cups on the ground, 2 that are full and standing up, but the man is focused on what he has lost. He's focused on the 3 tipped over. Babies, you got 2 hands. Okay? 2 hands. 2 hands. 2 cups that are full. Cups are refillable. Do not focus on who we lose, what we lose. Focus on what we can do, what we are building, Page of Swords. All that we can accomplish on our own by doing the hard work and by committing to certain levels of innovation. So we have that 8 of Coins vibration. We have that hammer and anvil. We have the innovation of the electricity bulb right here, but with the wings and everything to it, it's just like the growth and innovation, the growth and the potential. By staying focused on the direction, on the path, and on the potential, a lot more things are going to stay in balance in regards to where we're going next. This entire month going into eclipse season, which again, I'm calling eclipse season late August going into September, is going to redirect us in finding new ways of connecting to people, connecting to the masses, to connecting to our clients, to connecting to large groups. And again, it can take us into a new direction that allows for us to learn new ways of making money. The inspiration, the awe, the epiphany that can come through either directly in this new moon, over the course of the next week, even going into the Mercury Cazimi, but even more so over the course of the entire month, because again, the lunar month takes us into that first new moon in Virgo. There's a shift in the plans and in the direction for a reason. For a reason. Commit to that, connect to that, welcome that, and recognize that new path and the new direction that's starting to unfold has a purpose for you in the long run, and will even have gains that will follow very, very quickly. And a lot of those gains can be financial just as much as they can be about the people that you surround yourself with. And we need the mix of both. Okay. Moving along. Now, for Sagittarius and Sagittarius risings, this is a new moon in your 9th house. Higher education, higher learning, travel. Y'all could be getting that bug and that itch. I want to go. I want to go somewhere. I want to do something different. I want to go somewhere I've never gone before. Some of you are having to go for a reason. Like you're having to go because like you need to help something with your kids. Like they're doing their first new project, their first new adventure. They're on some type of, sports situation. What I'm looking at is like new moon hitting the trine to Saturn and Neptune in your 5th. They're doing something new in sports, something new that's like forcing the travel in places we've never been before. And because you go on the trip, because you go on the adventure, because you're supporting your kids, because you're doing the different thing, it opens an opportunity that we did not anticipate. Because again, Uranus is in the 7th house, making a sextile to this new moon. And that can be exciting. Now, there's something that we haven't talked about with Uranus being in your 7th house, and that's going to be the long-term cycle as to like who you trust. And I need you to know over the course of the next 8 years with Uranus in that placement, some of you are going to realize really quickly that the people you used to surround yourself with, they won't remain. In 2018 is whenever Uranus went into Taurus. So I'm a Scorpio rising. And this first little bit of Uranus in your seventh is the first bit that I've had in 7.5 years of him not being in my seventh. And the people that I used to rely on, that I used to be committed to, that I used to be connected to on all levels, I'm happily divorced. I'll say it so often. They have changed. My commitments have changed. Many of you are going to go through this first round of understanding that your commitments are changing. That can be a good thing, that can be a bad thing. So there can be some expect the unexpected, excitement vibration with Uranus making the sextile to this new moon, but it's coming from someone else. Now, again, you can be traveling for your kids. Saturn and Neptune are in that fifth house of love, luck, joy, romance, happiness, children. We have both the pages, Page of Coins and the Page of Cups. We can be doing some additional things that take us into other areas, but we're doing it in the support of our kids. But it's like, because we went, we meet that cool person, that new friend that we were not anticipating. We vibe with another parent, somebody that we can like continue to talk to even after the event is done. Like, we have some type of achievement, some type of success, some type of happiness. We have the Six of Wands and the Ten of Cups. There's a lot of connection here, a lot of fun things here, a lot of helpfulness here. And for many of you, it's almost like you've been manifesting something new, manifesting a shift in gears, manifesting a new opportunity, manifesting that new friend. Because our next two cards are the High Priestess and the Empress card. If you are the parent taking your kid for their cross-country tournament and having to go to a couple different places, that would not surprise me. For other people, you are not dealing with kids at all. You are looking at the shift in your luck. And because somebody else is coming through, somebody that was very unanticipated, somebody that you didn't know, you met them unexpectedly, you met them online, it's got you thinking of going back to school, thinking of this other direction, looking at this other opportunity. Something has come through unexpectedly that has now got you rethinking your path, rethinking the motion, rethinking the opportunity, rethinking something. For some of you, it's going to mean going back to school. New moon in the 9th, Mercury retrograde in the 9th. Mercury also rules where Uranus is at. Mercury rules your 10th house of career. And a lot of this vibration is setting us up for the eclipse axis. And again, the next set of eclipses is also going to be in your 10th house of career. So we're looking for something, we're searching, we're connecting to people that have a different vibration, that bring a different level of excitement, that bring a different level of opportunity. And opportunity can be the key word in the long run, maybe not immediately, but there's something about a difference in the vibe with who you're connecting with and who you're trusting. That's all the positive side. The negative side can be because somebody is acting out in a way that you've never seen before. Uranus is now in your 7th. You're realizing you don't want to be around them. And you've been making very strategic decisions on how you start to separate. You may not be separating in the moment, but they could be hitting the buttons that get you into an idea of separation later on. So be aware of that part too. Whether that's going to be something in the immediate future or more over the course of the next few months, that's yet to be seen. But Uranus's vibration here is expect the unexpected out of other people, and be aware that the way that you're communicating with a lot of these people, just because you are coming from a strong, honest place, doesn't mean that you ain't rubbing them the wrong way. And you cannot control how other people perceive the things that you say. Because this is also a new moon opposite Pluto. And just because you're doing your normal, vibrant energy doesn't mean that you can't bring out insecurities in other people. That's a big possibility too. So there's that. Moving along. Oh, with Capricorns and Capricorn risings, this is a new moon in your 8th house. Death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources. There can be a lot of business energy here. Investing certain things in business. Some of you are looking at making certain financial changes to better impact the home life. This is a new moon again, hitting this trine to Saturn, your chart ruler, and Neptune in your fourth house of home life, and family. We're having to take some additional financial decisions into play to impact our home life. Some of you are having to deal with frustrations in motherhood around your mother. And some of you are having to make certain financial decisions because, again, this is a new moon in the eighth, opposite Pluto in your second. So your financial houses are very, very big. You're having a shift in plans, or maybe even some of you are going to be moving in with another person, moving in with a roommate, moving in with a partner. But it seems like because we're in this vibration of setting the stage for something new, we are starting to realize the possibilities of something that's going to be very, very long term, even if it doesn't feel like the right time to make the long term. You guys got the 7 of coins. So this feels like there can be like a long-term vibration being forced to be made decisions on to go in a different direction. Some of you are going to be dealing with something in regards to health. That can be your health. That can be the health of another person. And that's what's forcing the financial decision to be here. Some of you are looking at, oh, I can't just, start a new job or start a new business because I got to take care of my mom. I got to take care of my dad. I got to take care of my family. I got to do what's best for them. And no matter how you spin it, it still comes down to we have to make a decision that other people aren't necessarily going to like, whether you're prepared or not. Like, this is the time to make the decisions. We have the 4 of Swords. Some of you are prepared for the worst. Some of you are going to have to deal with the worst. Certain things not going to plan. I just mean the worst in a temporary aspect. I say the worst because I'm looking at the idea of Saturn being retrograde in that conjunction to Neptune. And for many of you, it can be kind of clouding your judgment or clouding your senses in regards to which way can go. And if something's not going exactly your way, your hypercritical side can come through really fast. And that's why with you guys, I feel like if it feels like it's the worst, it doesn't have to be the worst. But there's a lot of you that you're going to have to be making brand new decisions. Got this Page of Swords, Ace of Swords energy. I think I said Page, but Ace of Swords energy, followed by the 7 of Coins and the 6 of Coins. So we're making financial decisions as to what's best for the family, what's best in our home life. And some of you have an unexpected opportunity that has either just come through or is about to come through. And I feel like with you guys, it might be the about to come through more so, because I'm looking at the idea of Venus going into Cancer right around the Mercury Cazimi. I think they're actually Venus is first and then the Mercury Cazimi. So that's going to be the 30th and the 31st. That you guys can have something that starts to really shift the routine and the plan, but there's an opportunity from the other side that allows for other things to progress. And it's not a part of the initial plan, but it leads to the long-term energy. So the 6 of Coins is the offer, the give and take, the offer. Like, I can help, you just have to accept it. There can be some terms, there can be some conditions, but it's like the temporary help that gets offered with the 7 of Coins also results in some kind of long-term vibration because seeds are getting planted. Now your next 2 cards, Page of Coins and the 9 of Cups. I always look at the 9 of Cups as like, it's better to be lucky than smart. And some of you are lucking into a new opportunity. I mean, lucking, like literally, like you step into it, you fell into it. It wasn't a part of the plan. You blurted something out of your mouth and now all of a sudden it's a business. And one of you know exactly what I'm talking about with that. You blurted something out of your mouth and now it's turned into a business. And it's almost been because you've been lucky with meeting the right people. It's allowing something else to really start to take shape. And that goes into the 9 of Coins. A lot of you are going to be having to make certain financial decisions right now, investing in yourself. And you're going to turn into a point where you're going to have to be educating people on a product, educating people on a possibility, or you're going to go into you get an opportunity, but it forces you to go deal with something where you have to learn If you're not the teaching part, then it's going to have to be learning. So it's like you get an opportunity, you take it, and then once you start the job, you go into like 6 weeks of training, that type of thing. The opportunity has a lot more longevity, but it wasn't a part of the plan that we had a month ago. So we're having to, again, make decisions, agree to commitments, working with different people that we did not anticipate working with, but it doesn't feel negative for you guys. It feels very, very beneficial once we put everything else into play. And some of you are about to go into, again, a timeline of teaching other people or learning something once we get into eclipse season. But it's like we're making the financial decisions now as to what that's going to result in 4 to 6 weeks from now. Okay, moving along. Moving along. For Aquarius and Aquarius risings, this is a new moon in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. Mercury is retrograde in your seventh house of relationships and partnerships and legal matters. And some of you can look at certain people the same way. You don't trust them the same way. And because they've been acting kind of funny, because they've done some things recently, it has made you realize just how much they piss you off. Why do I say that? This new moon, again, is in an opposition to Pluto in your first house. And it can feel like whatever is going on in this new moon triggers frustration. It triggers your anger. It triggers insecurity. That can be a very big trigger vibration. And it can put you to where you're almost stuck in an old mentality, in an old mindset, in an old way of thinking. Some of the people that you surround yourself with, you don't necessarily want to talk to them the same way. You just kind of want to focus on something different and realizing that the only way to do something different is to start connecting to people differently. And that can also mean big financial changes in the long run. Now, there's a couple reasons why I'm saying that. One, this is a new moon in the seventh house of relationships and partnerships. Some of the people that you surround yourself with, good, bad, or ugly, can either be what triggers the insecurity, Pluto in the first, opposite that new moon, or it triggers the new power dynamic. But that power dynamic will not be immediate to show. It will take months to really kind of show. So you could still have something that brings forth insecurities in the forefront, but it can still show you a way to get unstuck in the long run. So we have the Three of Wands, but we also have this Hangman, followed by the Six of Swords and the Two of Wands. So we're going to talk about all of these. Many of you have been in a pattern of feeling very, very stuck. And when Pluto being retrograde in your first house, that does feel valid and true. But now we got to look at your chart rulers. Saturn has been retrograde for a couple of weeks now. Saturn is in that conjunction to Neptune, feeling very lost, very confused. No matter what direction we look at, I don't know what to choose. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what I'm thinking. I don't know what to believe. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's real. But Uranus, your other chart ruler, is newly in Gemini. And the things that we need to start to look at is in another path that we previously didn't consider. Now, the Six of Swords is about a woman on a boat. It's foggy all around. You cannot see the dock she left. You cannot see the edge of the walls around. Everything is foggy and she doesn't care. She could crash for all she cares because whatever she's about to go into, even though she can't see it clearly, has got to be better than what she's leaving behind. The Two of Wands came out with that Six of Swords. The new direction that's starting to unfold, that's starting to come about, that's starting to happen, that's starting to come to light and be seen, you only can see so much of it. There's direction, there's the potential of something that helps you regain personal power, that helps you get over certain insecurities, but it will not happen all at once. In fact, it's going to take months. And I'm being very clear about that. If you guys are feeling that need to withdraw from certain people and stay stuck in your rut with that Hangman card, it's not going to last forever. And what can happen in the new moon is you can have somebody new kind of come through that kind of brings excitement because, again, new moon is in a sextile to Uranus in your fifth. And whoever new can come through can start to bring a slow vibration, a steady vibration towards new idea, to new long-term goals, more long-term vibration, new ideas, new opportunities that, again, were not a part of the plan. But because we finally allowed the new path to unfold and we didn't stay stuck in our rut, there is promise in how this starts to unfold. Because after the Knight of Coins, we get the 10 of Coins. And the 10 of Coins was literally the last card that came out. This Mercury retrograde, again, sets us up for eclipse season. The eclipse axis for you is in your financial houses. Virgo is your eighth house of death, debt, taxes, inheritance, shared assets, shared resources. Pisces is your second house of money, your assets, your stuff, ways that you spend money, ways that you make money. And the right opportunity coming through with the other person can set new long-term goals for you financially. And it's like once we get through those goals and we get some things lined out, it's like it takes away the fear and the alleviates certain pressures. But it's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take months. For you guys, it takes months. I'm not promising like, oh, 3 weeks from now, 2 weeks from now. I'm not doing that with you. Long-term vibration. Because you are going to have Pluto retrograde in your first house for a while. And I'm counting the Pluto vibration impacting your mind, your body, your identity, you more so than anything else here. But once we get certain financial goals met, it can be very easy for you to start to shake the funk afterwards. So again, look at the opportunities that are coming through because they're going to give direction. They're going to give path into where we go next. All right, moving along. We're going to get to Pisces and Pisces risings. Okay, my loves. This is a new moon in your sixth house, how you care for yourself, how you care for other people. Uranus in your fourth house of home life, family, roots, and ancestry is making an aspect to this new moon. Some of you are going to be having to shift some things in your routine, shift some things in the household because you get a new dog, new cat, a new animal. We replace the old one, we get a new one. Super mundane things. Some of you are going to be, opening your back door and seeing that an animal has moved onto the patio going, where did you even come from? And before you know it, you have a new pet. They're not on the patio, they're moving in. And it's expect the unexpected at home in a lot of ways, but not necessarily in a bad way. Now, Saturn and Neptune are making a trine to this new moon, and they are in your second house of money. Some of you are going to have different things going on at work, different financial decisions that have to be dealt with that can bring up some old insecurities. Some of you might be having some health issues or health things around family members that bring up some old insecurities. It can be making us aware that death is near. Not that it's happening right at this moment, but death is near. And the only way that we can get past that type of vibration is to face our fears and learn certain realities that trigger all that insecurity. Now, why am I saying the death thing? Pluto is in your 12th house of the unknown, the unseen, and endings. This new moon is in a direct opposition to that Pluto. And there can be things, again, with family members, especially fathers. Whenever it comes to the sun can be a representation of the masculine. Fathers, uncles, grandfathers, brothers. And it's like you learn just how bad they've been sick. And it's not necessarily always going to be something that we're prepared for, Four of Swords. But the Strength card has also come out. And it doesn't mean that you're not capable of handling something. It doesn't mean that we're not capable of dealing with the worst. We are. This is letting us know what to be prepared for if it is in fact going to be something towards the worst. And I'm looking at that opposition to Pluto. But not all of you are going to be dealing with the worst. Some of you are just going to be learning that there's going to be changes going on in the workplace and it's going to result in endings later, but not necessarily resulting in an ending right now. Some of you are going to be dealing with something in the workplace and you're going to be learning that somebody else is leaving and they're going to be Their energy being removed is going to open up a whole different set of opportunities to follow. They just have to make that decision, that judgment call. Some of you are going to be forced to make your own judgment calls to remove support, to not do certain things the same way. So we still have this judgment card, but we're also going into this Empress vibration. You're going to have to make certain judgment calls yourself to remove support, to no longer pay for certain things, to no longer be obligated to certain things, and do what's best for you and your family in ways that you had not initially anticipated. But since Uranus and Venus has come into your fourth, it has made you aware of other things that you're going to have to shift. Now, again, this is a new moon in your sixth house, and the sixth house can have to do with pets and livestock. Some of you are going to be dealing with something with literally a pet. That's why I was saying you open the door and there's like a litter of cats in them on the back patio. That can be a big possibility. We get the Six of Cups. This is actually like a very celebratory card, but even in a traditional deck, like there's animals in this picture. So it's like as things are coming together, it's like we're drawing in some additional energy. And you got to remember like what's worth taking on and what's going to be like fair and balanced for everybody. And if you get an entire litter of cats on your backyard, don't keep the entire litter. Do the responsible thing, call a pet rescue, try to get them fixed, try to get them rehomed, get them wormed, see what different things that you can do that's fair for everybody. Don't take everything onto yourself. Now, with that Empress card, that's the mother of mothers. And a lot of times your healing energy of, I just want to make it better. I want to be like Snow White, and these are all of my animals. Your healing energy could be, I want to keep all the kitties. Don't do that. Just don't do that. That's not what's best for you. That's not what's best for everybody. Make sure you're doing what's best for everybody in this vibration. Now, if you are having things going on at work, they can set it up to where you're starting to deal with a whole new set of people, a whole new set of legal matters, or even helping people deal with how am I want to word this next part. If there is something like going on with dad, I'm just going to say dad. It doesn't have to be dad, but if there's something going on with a family member unexpectedly, it could turn into like you're a part of the process of helping them get their financial shit in order in the coming weeks, because we want to make sure that they have an estate, that they have a will, that they have people in legal obligations handled. Some of you are going to have certain things revealed through this Mercury retrograde that is going to truly instigate our focus on the other side, whether that's a new relationship and taking something, forward that we weren't anticipating, or if we're clearing out certain things with people so we can have open energy for new relationships later on, new business partnerships, or new something in this regard, don't be surprised by that either. Now, the one thing about your chart rulers, Neptune in that conjunction to Saturn, there's a very karmic, timely aspect going on. But with Jupiter in Cancer in its exaltation, your other chart ruler in that fifth house of love and luck and joy and romance and happiness and children, a lot of you are very stuck in almost like a romantic vibe. I'm not saying that you're being the romantic, but it's just like we want things to feel oozy and comfortable, and we want it to be smooth. But if we have certain people coming in and they're not making it smooth, again, I'm going back to this Judgment and Empress card. If they're creating disruption in how smooth everything is going, we're going to have to make certain decisions to remove, cut off, to not deal with them, to not allow them in our space. If you guys are having issues with health or seeing issues with health, it's most likely in intestinal health. But I've also had people with the limb thing. Like I've had 2 or 3 people either with a broken foot lately or a broken arm. That's not even a joke. I hate that. That's a big possibility, but it's all that Mercury being retrograde stuff, especially the legs. I've had so many people with either broken foot or broken knee, and that all came like in that same week of Saturn and Neptune turning retrograde, because Saturn rules like your knees and Neptune is one of the rulers of your feet. So there's been a lot of things around that too. And you can, if especially those of you that are in nursing, you can see an influx of those kinds of injuries, or other injuries or illnesses that are impacting the bones, the structure of the body, and the spine, different infections and stuff like that that you're not used to seeing. You guys can also be feeling different symptoms that are impacting your health because of this Mercury retrograde. If it's not your health, it could be the health of other people. So be aware of that too. Okay. Anyways, I love and appreciate every single one of you. For those of you in the Oklahoma City area that have the ability to come see me this weekend, I will be in town. Let's talk. Let's hang out. Let's do something. Anyways, I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.